Hey, Danny Smith here. Today I'm going to show you this new aluminum servo mount a buddy of mine's making from Hyperco. Aluminum servo mount for HB Racing E817. I know there are a few on the market already, but I wanted to have my own, so he's made a prototype for me to test out, and they should be available soon. It's a 4-piece design, top hat similar to the same shape as the stock one. I'm using SRT BH927R servos, really good servo, but it's a little taller. So one thing I had him do is make it a little taller. This new one is 2 millimeters taller. Gives a little more clearance. I'm going to show you how I mount it in my buggy. There's the 3 legs that are going to mount to the car first. Just went to a big race at King Cobra and got the car super nasty, so I had to tear it down anyway. I figured it'd be a good time to show you. I've just got the ESC mount already on there, a new one, just for the purposes of showing you this. Alright, I start with some Buku removable thread locker. It's a self-wicking thread locker. What I use on everything, works great. I usually just put some on the table and use that to dip it in, dip the screws in. Now I'm using, to mount the legs, I'm using these shorter stainless screws, 10 millimeters long. Just dip them in just a tiny drop of thread locker. The longer, there's a 4 millimeter, 3 millimeter hole. Just go ahead and thread it in there. To the bottom first. Get good and snug. You don't have to go crazy with it because you got the thread locker on there, but don't leave it loose, obviously. Same thing with the other 2. I'll probably come back and tighten these once the top's on. Okay, there's your stands. Pretty nice. The big one goes, the longer one goes here because it doesn't sit on top of the ESC mounts. So now, move that out of the way. 2 of your mounts are going to go through the servo screws. So I'm going to put the servo in next. Alright, I've got 2 of the longer screws, and 2 shorter ones, and 1 short button head screw. So I'm using the rubber isolators that come with the servo, simply because I don't do it on the nitro car because I'm using it in a plastic radio tray. But since this one's so solid, I want to have a little bit of isolation. And this raises the servo up just a fuzz, gets it in just the right position where I like it. So I'm using, to mount the 2 that mount just in the top of the mount, I'm using 12 millimeter screws. The ones that go through the mount into the legs, they're 18 millimeter screws. And the button head that goes through the mount into the legs by itself, including the head, is 13.25 millimeters. So let's do that. Same thing, little bit of thread locker. These I just barely get them halfway tight. There might be a little adjustment once you get it onto the stand. there you have that. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and just set this on the table. See it better. What I'll wind up doing, drill a hole right here in the edge of the ESC mount, so my wire can come around. I'm going to tie my wire there. I've got my sensor wire comes around this way, as well as the servo wire comes around this way, and it goes up under the motor, or in between the motor and the ESC back here, and around to the radio box. So servo mount goes on like so. Same deal. I'm going to use these longer screws. They'll drop it Loctite. This one goes through the mount, through the top of the mount, into the leg. Same here. Now I'm just starting these. And the button head is going to go in that spot. And at this point, I'll go ahead and snug that one down. Snug these down. You don't have to go crazy because you got these rubber mounts. Make sure I'll go ahead and tighten all four down. Got the isolator, there's the metal grommet. At this point, I'll go ahead and snug the bottom three screws. And there you have it. Super clean, super strong. Somebody may ask, why did I want these? Why did I use these? With the stock one, I had a couple of screws stripped out pretty quick. Had a couple break, like right here. So this eliminates that. Also, it eliminates a lot of flex. Now you want a little flex so it's not so hard on your servo, so that's why I use the rubber mounts. You may want to adjust your servo saver for a little more. But you can see the servo that's spaced off just right, just like I like it. If you have a shorter servo and you want to put it a little lower, you can grind a little off the bottom or the top of the legs, and that'll lower the servo a little bit. So you see right here, I'll have a hole there to tie the wires down so it doesn't hit the drive shaft or anything. But there you have it. I've ran this 2 or 3 races so far, good bit of practice, had no trouble with it so far. Very happy with it. Anyway, there you go.